Hey guys, welcome back to World of Tanks. My name is Bruce and today I want to present a relatively old but maybe still golden premium tank. It is the Chinese tier 7 light tank, the Type 62. How good is this tank? Let me show you in this video. Type 62. This tank is relatively old and has been in the game for multiple years. How good is this tank? In this video I want to clarify whether this tank is worth a pick and show you how it can perform. So without further ado, let me show you the strength of this tank. This tank features a gun with 180 alpha, which is relatively strong for a tier 7 light tank. Its base DPM is 2048, which is strong for a tier 7 light tank, and with this tank you can add up damage relatively quickly in the game. So first shot onto the tier 6 tank destroyer, then with our very short reload, second shot, and then we will be able to take this tank out within only a couple of seconds. Another strength of this tank is its HE ammunition. So with your HE shells, you are able to boost your alpha damage from 180 up to 300 for tier light tank. This is insane. So if you fight against a weakly armored adversary tank, then simply load HE and boost your alpha damage. So for example, against this Hellcat, we can for sure use HE. We simply load this shell and we make a whopping 317 alpha on a tier 7 light tank. One downside of this tank is the mobility. The mobility is actually, it's not too bad. However, it is not the strongest either. The top speed is 60 kph and the power to weight ratio is 21.65 stock. Once again, it's not a bad mobility. However, compared to other light tanks, it is slightly on the lackluster side. Now, when it comes to spotting, this tank really shines. It features 390 meters of view range alongside with 16.42 base camo. And overall, this means that this tank is an outstanding spotter. Alongside with its punchy gun, with its 300 alpha on its HE, it is a very strong light tank overall on tier 7 and really fun to play. And I think the little downgrade on mobility is not worth mentioning due to those overall decent stats. So this is what this tank is all about, but before we start with some gameplay, let me quickly show you how I play this tank. So my crew is working on the third perk. It has Brothers in Arms, then of course concealment. Then I'm working on repairs on the gunner and also on the driver, and of course my crew has situational awareness and also recon. I am playing this tank with two builds. One is the spotting build with exhaust system, with coated optics and with vents, simply because you cannot put CVS onto a tier 7 tank. And then the second build, I'm basically changing the exhaust for a gun rammer, and then I'm playing this tank with vertical stabilizer and not with ventilation in order to get the most out of the firepower of this tank. Now, one thing I should mention is that the HE ammunition has 220 millimeters of penetration, which really works even against top tier tanks. So yeah, this is how I play this tank, and let's now jump into the first game. Alright, first game in the Type 62. We are spawning on highway in tier 8 match, which is kind of typical. But let's first of all take a look at the map and see what options we have. Spawning on highway with the light tank in the south, you have multiple options. My preferred one is to go to this position right here and try to spot the tanks which are operating in this position. Out of this position you can also get crossfire towards the tanks playing right here on the A lane. Plus later on in the game, if this whole portion is cleared from red forces, you can move like this to this position right here and then try to start spotting those tanks which are defensively in the red base. So important to notice is that there are 4 light tanks in the game, so 2 on each side. And this means that we want to play a tiny touch more defensively at the beginning of the game and see how aggressive those other light tanks behave. And we want to go to this standard position and see whether we can make some spotting damage. Looks like our AMX 1357 is stopping in a very awkward position. In my opinion, too defensively, but maybe he's also expecting the other light tanks to be super aggressively. Let's see. Now I want to go to this bush and I want to reverse my tank so that if I get spotted, I have a much greater chance of evading out of the situation. Let me see. Can I take a shot? The problem is that sometimes over the rear you have even less gun depression than over the front. So let me see. I want to make sure that the bush is not transparent so that I do not get spotted once I take a shot. Because chances are that the other light tanks are in some bushes. Okay, I took a shot here, but okay, I do not get spotted. Now, in order to make my shot, I went closer into the bush, but that means that I need to evade and I need to retreat after the shot because I have to assume that I get spotted or that I got spotted after I shot. Which was not the case here. Okay, so it looks like the adversary team is super defensively. There's still the AMX 1357 in the enemy team, so we'll have to watch out for this tank, but I'm not spotted. So I don't know, maybe this tank is further in the south. And so I want to go and spot this position right here, the A678 position. That's exactly what I want to do. So first shot onto this tank. Fortunately, I do not get a shot in return, and that's the sweet spotting damage that I want to do. So this is kind of a standard gameplay on this map in a light tank, sometimes even in a medium tank, if you have a medium tank which is able to spot. Okay, yeah, I need to load premium ammunition in order to pen him. But you know what? I do not want to eat a, what is it, 600, 700 alpha shot of the WZ-111, the tier 8 Chinese tank destroyer, and so I'm reversing. I do not want to attack him frontally. Instead, I want to flank and see what else I can spot. Maybe if I fully... yeah, no, okay. This gun is, of course, not the most precise one. And so pixel shots are usually not working out. Okay, we already made 1148 spotting damage. Okay, here's the AMX 1357. But I do not want to take a shot onto him because simply he is too fast. Okay. Yeah, and of course this shot does not hit. Okay, so our team is also advancing, and this gives me the chance of also further advancing into this position. Okay, I spot the T25-2, so I want to fall back. However, I have not been spotted yet, so we can turn around and try to continue to make pressure. Now, in this situation, you need to be cautious and you need to be afraid of other tanks in the E9 position. Here you go. Nice. Yes, I might have a bit of support, maybe from the Scorpion if he further advances, but not too much. And if those tanks get 1 or 2 or maybe 3 shots, then I'm taken out. So I want to play cautiously, and as you can see, the T25-2 has already turned around. Okay, so meanwhile, we're managing to collect a bit more spotting damage. Here you go. Can we get a shot onto this tank maybe? Let me see. Nope, this shot does not hit, unfortunately. Maybe not. Okay, no, he's already dead. Is there another tank? No. Okay, the WoT is also advancing. Take a shot. Okay. I do not penetrate. Maybe now. Nice. Okay. 176 damage. Excellent. And yeah, so the WoT is now facing most likely towards the KPZ-07RH. And so, I mean, the game is 7-3. Okay, now Aha. The WZ has turned around. So, of course, in this situation, you want to be somewhat aggressive in order to continue to make damage. However, cautiously enough to not throw away your tank. And it's a fine line. This is a fine line which requires much of experience. Because, once again, we do not want to miss the chance of making more damage, be it assisting damage or real damage at the end of the game. So let's see, we'll park here behind the house because we're spotted. Yep, okay. The Ori is now taken out. Okay, and now I think this is the time where we want to be aggressive because we want to be the first one making damage onto the T-25-2. Let me see, hopefully the Juto, yep, is not in a position to take damage onto us. Here you go, let me see, he's still engaged in a fight and so we can make more damage. And now he's taken out by the KPZ-07RH. Okay, perfect. So far 1.5k damage, but there is more to come. The game is now, once again, relatively close, which is good for us. Because this means that we can make more damage. And so let's see what else we can do. The KPZ-07RH has been taken out, and that is a good example of being too aggressively. And now, once again, I do not want to drive frontally into the gun of the WZ-111. And so let's make another flanking maneuver. Let's see, can we get a shot onto the MX-1357? No. Those things are all in the city, which is... Okay, I think we need to be more aggressively. The game is relatively close, but I'm thinking of how I can approach the remaining tanks. Maybe I can take a shot onto the... Okay. Maybe I can approach the WZ from the side. Let's see. Okay, where is... I mean, somebody has to go, so I think it's us. I think it's on our side. Okay, there is the AMX. So let me see if he reverses. Okay, he's taken out. Excellent. Okay, so we need to go. How can we approach this tank? I do not want to end up frontally against this tank because then he will simply take me out with only one shot. Okay, nice. Another shot here, and now we can hide behind the building. Excellent. And we should be able to evade because I think he has not enough gun arc. Okay, he's just taken a shot, so that's our opportunity to take a shot on our own and now to evade out of the situation. Maybe we can fall into his rear. Nice, he's taken out, and so now we have to hurry up and we have to proceed to the other tanks in order to make more damage. So far the game is, I would say, on the mediocre side. 1.5k damage, 800 damage on our own, so 1.5k assisting damage. Here you go, nice, bam, another shot without taking a shot into return. And then, you know what, I think I will now take out the T-29. He cannot kill me with my remaining 540 HP. So if okay, that's super frustrating. But you know what? There's the 122 TM, and oh, excellent. He doesn't even pay attention to me. How nice is that? And here you can see the strong DPM of this tank. If you can get your gun to a, let's say, to constantly fire onto other tanks, then the DPM of this tank really shines. Fortunately, he was not paying attention at all, and so in the end we can make 1900 damage, 1500 assisting damage, so about 3.4k combined. Okay, second game. This time we are in a top tier situation on Serene Coast, and let's first of all take a look at the map and see what options we have. Spawning on Serene Coast in the north with the light tank, you have multiple options. One is to go to this bush right here and to spot those heavy tanks once they cross either like this or like this, so that your own tanks, which need to be positioned somewhere around here, can take them under fire. Another option is to support the strategic position in the north, so at the C1, C2 position, and then either go here to this bush, spotting the adversary tanks once they are approaching the C1 position, or maybe even fall down to this position, play here, or maybe flex down to, let's say, this position. So there are multiple options to skin a cat in a light tank on Serene Coast. As I said, this tank, apart from not being an autoloader like the MX 1357, has a pretty strong firepower with its 2000 base DPM and also with its 180 damage and even 300 on its HE ammunition. So especially in a top tier situation, will you be able to use this firepower and play this tank more as a light medium hybrid and basically add your firepower to the game? And that's exactly what I want to do in this game, and I want to show you this strength. So yes, I'm knocking down the tree, which is not really a good idea, however not too much of a problem as it looks like. And let's see, I want to stay in this position because the M6, the hull down Wonder on tier 6, is already approaching the strategic C1 position. And so let me see, can I get a shot onto the adversary light tank? This would be good. Now here you can see the drawback of this tank with only 5 degrees of gun depression. So this pretty much limits this tank, and it would be quite stronger if it had, let's say, 10 degrees of gun depression. But then it wouldn't be a Chinese tank, and it would most likely also be too strong on its tier 4 light tank. Right, see, first shot, nice, 191 damage, excellent. Little high roll, of course we fall back instantaneously because we assume that we get spotted, which is the case if your bush is not if the bush you are standing in is transparent. So let me see. Okay, we can load an HE shell, and excellent, 318 alpha damage. This is really nice on this tank. Now, of course, 43 millimeters of pen on the HE is not too great. However, it is certainly enough for the rear of most tier 6 and tier 7 tanks, plus also the side of medium or light tanks on this tier. Excellent. So can we take out this tank? Let me see. Go, nice. And yeah, so 600 damage so far in the game. Now we are working on securing the northern side of the map alongside with our team, and I think sooner or later it is okay. Here, maybe we can get some damage onto those retreating tanks. Let me see. Let's fully aim in, and bam, nice. One shot onto the T-34-1. Maybe another shot. Let me see. With this gun, you always want to be fully aimed in. Otherwise, the gun is simply not precise enough in order to make damage. So, if you fully aim in, as you can see, you can hit your targets. But if you try to make snapshots, this usually doesn't work with this tank. Alright. 800 damage. Let's continue to cautiously advance. We've won the strategic C1 position. However, as you can see on the minimap, the adversary team has won the southern side of the map. So I'm pinging the map and I'm telling my team, hey, let's fall back and let's make a base defense. Because sooner or later, those two heavy tanks, the heavy tank number 6 and the Tiger 1, will approach our base, and there's a pretty strong defensive location that we can exploit if we fall back early enough. So that's exactly what I want to do. And I want to man the A8 position, which is super strong once again. Plus we can appear relatively unexpected. Here you go. That's what I want to see. So first shot, and due to the double bush location, we don't even get spotted, and so we can get another shot. He's now rushing us, but due to the fact that we were able to reduce his HP, we should be on the safe side. But gun depression is a problem for us. Okay, he manages to take a shot onto us, so we have to fall back a little bit. Let me see. Hopefully our arty will help us out. The arty player relocated, a thing which you do not see too often in World of Tanks. Okay, and I need to fall out of cover. I need to get rid of this tank. And hopefully, and fortunately, artillery helps us out. So that was too many HP that I lost, but now this tank is gone and we can finally take more damage onto the Tiger 1. And once again, a situation in which our DPM really shines and helps us out to make more damage consistently. We want to track this tank in order to get more assisting damage. If he is standing still, then this really helps us out. And all of a sudden, we managed to boost our damage to 1900. Excellent. So, yeah, we managed to defend our flank. And now, let's see how we can win the game. We are still on the winning side, 11-8. However, there's still a strong tank in the adversary team, at least, or I would say two strong tanks, one of which is the T-28 HTC, which we will not be able to pen frontally, maybe apart from the weak spots on the side. So we need to make another flanking maneuver, and we want to go to a position of advantage, which is on the northern side of the map. So the C1 position is the position which lets us spot the adversary tanks and then also use bushes and play the vision game. So let's see how it goes. Meanwhile, our T-20 is proceeding via the south, which is maybe not the worst idea, simply because the enemy tanks should not be there because they were last spotted in the middle and also in the vicinity of the adversary base. Okay, let me see. Can I take a shot onto this tank? Turns... No, I need to load premium ammunition. Okay, nice. He turns around. And so... Here we go. First damage onto this tank. Let's assume that I was spotted, which is not the case. Okay, I think we need to make a flanking maneuver onto this tank. Maybe I can get one pixel shot onto this tank. Let's try it out. And yeah, we are lucky. Nice. So 2200 damage. Fortunately, this T-28 HTC is now reduced to 50% of its HP, which is good for us. And now we need to play more aggressively. Unfortunately, I've traded too many HP at the defending situation against the heavy tank number 6. And this is now a problem. Meanwhile, the T-20 is making pressure, so we need to support him. And we also need to make pressure because if we wouldn't do this, then chances are that the adversary tanks would fall back, taking this tank out. And then, okay, we're spotted, but we can at least make one shot onto the Dicker Max. And then they would most likely take this tank out and then regroup and then take us under fire. So that's not what we want to see. Unfortunately, our teammate has been taken out, and so it's now 11-10. So the game is relatively close. So let's see how we can win this game. I think the strongest adversary is the T-28. Oh no, I do not penetrate this shot. However, our teammate helps us out and we can take out the Dicker Max. So, and meanwhile, our arty destroyed the T-34-85. Excellent. So now there's only the T-28 HTC and the arty. So we should be able, if we can surprise this tank, we should be able to circle him and then take him out. So that's what we want to do. So let's see. Here we go. Okay, he's even turning towards the other side. And now first shot, and we only need one more shot. And let's manually aim. And nice, we can take out this tank. So 2,800 damage. And I think this game showed the strength of this tank when it comes to firepower. And this makes this tank actually really flexible, because not only can you play this tank as a pure sniper, which you saw me doing in the first game, but you can also play this tank as a medium light hybrid and exploit the firepower of this tank, which is certainly a strong feature of this tank. And here goes. So yeah, Second game, 2800 damage, excellent result. And let's now jump into the last game. Alright, last game on El Halouf, once again in a low tier situation, and let's first of all take a look at the map and see what options we have. Spawning on El Halouf in the south with the light tank, you have multiple options. One is to go here and to try to spot those tanks on their way to the B2, B3 position. However, in my opinion, you will not get too much support with this action. So what I like to do is I like to play here in the open field and try to spot those tanks here. Because in this position you will most likely get support from all of those tanks which are situated in the own base. Now on El Halouf, yeah, as I said, we can do multiple things. However, in a light tank I want to support the open field in the south. Now the problem in this match is that the adversary team does have an MX 1357, and I usually do not trust those guys because my experience is that they play ultra aggressively. So instead I want to see how things go, and I want to play a bit more defensively at the beginning, see how things are working out, how the adversary team behaves, and then maybe get one or another shot and then see what I can do. Of course, brawling frontally against heavy tanks is not an option, plus my gun depression somewhat limits me to play in the C2 position. Otherwise, I think I would have gone to this position at the beginning of the game. But this is of course a nice target. Okay, we can at least track him and get another shot. Nice. So as you can see, if you really fully aim in your shots, then you can really make your shots. And this was also a hit, and looks like this tank can now evade out of the situation. Yep, and is not in this position any longer. Let's take one more shot, but no. Okay, so one more hit on this tank, so we should be at around 400 to 600 damage, 400 to 500 damage. Excellent. Can we take a shot onto this tank? Maybe. Nope. We bounce on the turret, which is understandable. Maybe at the side of this tank. Ah. Fortunately, we hit the strong portion of its armor. Maybe this was a hit. It was actually a hit, but hopefully it was a penetration. And this shot does not hit. Okay. Let's see what we can do. How is our team looking on the heavy lane? I'd say okay. And let's see what we can do. Our AMX 1357 is in a good spotting location, so I think I do not need to support him. Hopefully he doesn't make a mistake against the tier 8 medium tank, because of course the firepower advantage is on the tier 8 tank's side. So can we take a shot? Nice. And we don't even get spotted due to the double bush situation. Excellent. We go maybe one shot onto the setter. Let's see. Okay, this is a tricky shot, but we can make it. Nice. Excellent. Now teammate helps us out to kill the setter, which was a nice teamwork. And maybe if the MX-30 AP falls back, we can take another shot onto him. So let us see. Doesn't look like. Meanwhile, the adversary artillery is focusing our medium and light tanks on the open field. Okay, can I take a shot onto this tank? Yes, I can. And we make another shot, and we even light him up. Excellent. Okay, perfect. We need to fall back because we are spotted. And we make... No, actually, we did not light this tank up. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Okay, there's the T-31, 34-1. Ah, we bounced this shot. Unfortunately, this shot doesn't hit. Okay. Slowly but steadily, we are trying to make the damage onto this game. Excellent. Yep, I didn't want to load HE simply because I knew that this tank would be retreating in a bit. Let's see, I think I do not have enough gun depression to get a shot onto the AMX. Oh, maybe yes, I do. Let me see. Nice, one shot. Okay, perfect. And so, yeah, slowly but steadily, we are increasing our damage in this game. Of course, we're playing super defensively, but I think we will be able to further on use the HP that we managed to save at the beginning of the game, which is always the goal, what you should try to do and try to accomplish in your matches. Plus, if you're not in a top tier situation, I mean, why should you be the most aggressive tank on the battlefield, right? Okay, so let's make an assessment. So our tanks have won the heavy lane, and I think it is time to support them with a little bit of spotting. So let's try to change the flank. Oh, there's the WoT, okay. Which is already taken under fire, which is nice. And okay, if he comes to standstill, then I can take a shot, but unfortunately he's waggling around, something that you see me do in my videos as well pretty often, and a thing which I can really recommend. And this is actually the reason why this is such a good technique. So let's see, but the WoT is low HP, and so I think we can take on a 1v1 fight against this tank. Of course, it is a risk if we cross the open field, but I think it is necessary in order to push our team forward. Here you go. Okay, he will take a shot onto me. I will come to a standstill, and I will be able to take him out. Unfortunately, I eat a shot from the T-28, and now I need to fall back into cover. And because I do not want to take a second shot from the T-28. Okay, so yeah, now our heavy tanks are advancing. They're losing quite some HP, if you ask me. A little bit too much, in my opinion. Okay, nice. 7-5, so the game seems to be on the winning side. And let's see. Okay, here you go. There is the light tank, which we can take out. Nice. That was most likely a huge problem for our heavy tanks, and the reason why some of them got killed during their advance. Oh no. Okay, I don't even make this shot. Okay, so that's a bad trade. And you know what? Let's try to make another flanking maneuver. Okay, so all in all, what is my conclusion of this tank? So, in my opinion, this is a good alternative to tier 8 premium tanks. Now, the advantage of a light tank is that you are very flexible. Not only can you play a light tank as a spotting tank and collect spotting damage, which is beneficial if you are low tier, because usually your firepower advantage turns out to be a firepower disadvantage if you're low tier, and then there's nothing left for you in your tank. But if you are a light tank, then this is not the case, because you can still conduct spotting against top tier tanks even if you are in a low tier situation. So that's the strength of a light tank. Plus, this tank gives you the flexibility to play it more as a medium tank due to its above average firepower. And so if you find yourself in a top tier situation, then this tank can really shine with its 180 alpha damage, but also with its super strong 300 HE alpha. And so yeah, all in all, I think this tank is pretty fun to play. Now, why does this tank have so much view range compared to the other light tanks? Well, simply because it is a very old light tank, and this tank benefits from not having received the light tank rework, which only applied to the tech tree tanks, but not to the premium tanks. And due to the fact that this tank is so old, it still has this good spotting ability, which sets it apart from the other light tanks. So all in all, I can really recommend this tank. It is fun to play, it is flexible, it is a good spotter, it has a good firepower, and yeah, all in all, a huge recommendation if you're into light tank. Plus, as this is not a top tier light tank, you can also try to, let's say, get used to light tank gameplay and make one further step into top tier light tank gameplay. So yeah, in my opinion, I really like this tank. I think it's fun to play. It certainly has its strength, and I can really recommend it. So let's see whether we can take out the 45 TP. Okay, not so much. And I think we will not be able to make any further damage. So 2000 damage, 900 assisting damage, so 2.3, actually 3k combined. Another decent result in the Type 62. Alright guys, that was it for today with a video about the Type 62. Do you have this tank in your garage? What is your opinion about this tank? And do you agree that it is relatively strong and worth a pick? Feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below. And as always, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. This really helps out with the YouTube algorithm. If you find this video extremely helpful, then feel free to support me via Super Thanks. This way you can make a one-time donation. You just have to click this button underneath the video. If you adore this channel and you want to consistently support me, then consider subscribing to my channel or become a member, once again with the click of a button underneath the video. Thanks a lot, and I see you next time in another World of Tanks video.